Seven companies presenting. Each will have 5 minutes to pitch. We will time that at the 5 minutes. We will go ahead and close and move to Q&A. So if you're not there, guys, just give us the fundraise ask, and we'll then give people time to ask some questions. We do have 7 companies in 1 hour, so we'll see what we can do to keep the questions short and to the point, and the answers short and to the point as well. The first one up is going to be Qualisher. Oliver, if you want to go and load your slides up, I'll just do a short introduction without slides, and then we'll kick off with your presentation first. And then second is AccuBreath, third Hemocath, fourth Chillshark, fifth Aether, sixth Skymere, and seventh 1839. Last chance for questions, anybody? All right. Let's go and kick off. Hello, thank you guys for joining us today here at 10 Capital for another great round of presentations. My name is Hall Martin. I'm the CEO, where we help startups and investors connect for funding. Thank you guys for joining us today. If you have any questions about the program, please drop me a note in the chat box and I'll follow up with you afterwards as either how we work with investors, how we work with prospective companies, and how we work with partners. So feel free to reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer those questions through the presentation. So with that, let's go ahead and start with our first presentation. We have with us Qualisher Diagnostics. They got a 93 on the investability score, the highest of the day. They are a diagnostic platform improving medication quality testing and pharmaceutical safety globally. With that, we'll go ahead and kick it off, Oliver.
Great. Thanks very much. My name is Oliver Baith. I'm founder and CEO of Qualisher Diagnostics, and we're a Calgary, Canada-based precision oncology company building the infrastructure for the next generation of precision oncology testing. This has just been a tremendous time technologically with the convergence of a number of technologies, next generation sequencing and other high throughput technologies have developed quite a bit over the last decade. Of course, we're all aware that AI has advanced remarkably. And importantly, the way that we deal with cancer patients by refining and personalizing cancer care has advanced as well. And all of this is in the purview of our company, Qualisher Diagnostics. So before there was a Qualisher Diagnostics, I was a cancer surgeon for over 25 years. And one thing that was really remarkable is that we would offer these patients who are otherwise very sick from their cancer, very toxic drugs. And the fact of the matter is that we were not sure exactly whether those patients were going to benefit. So we need some tools to help us to enhance the selection of treatments for those patients. What we focused on is looking at gene expression or the RNA expression of cancers, because that is highly informative of the underlying biology of a cancer. It tells you how quickly a tumor is going to grow, whether it's going to spread and where it's going to spread to. And it's also going to tell you what treatments the cancer is going to be susceptible to. So the final sort of bottleneck in precision oncology, though, is the deployment piece. And presently, what happens is that we have these central labs that each diagnostic company has, and that's really inhibiting our capability to globalize these technologies. So we built what's happened over the last number of years has been that instead of diagnostic tests being completely based in the lab, they're based also in a computational fashion. They're based on algorithms, and we built our first algorithmic test called Thyroid Guide PX a number of years ago now, and this has already achieved Medicare pricing. We've been cited in the American Thyroid Association guidelines. Essentially, what it does is it tells you whether it's a high risk or low risk cancer so that you can personalize the treatment for those patients. We have significant traction with collaborations with some major organizations, including Sloan Kettering and MD Anderson. This has been deployed now in 3 labs, one in the United States, one in Canada, and one in Singapore. So what we discovered, though, during that journey is that there's a much bigger problem that we could potentially address, and that is the deployment problem. So typically, as I mentioned, labs are typically built in or a diagnostic company is typically emanating from a single central lab, and that really is problematic. So, for example, if you had a test that was developed in the U.S. and you wanted to sell it to a patient who is in Australia, that would be extremely difficult because the sample would have to be sent across the ocean with a large turnaround time and a large expense. So that really inhibits our capability to disseminate these technologies. So we built Molecular Decoder to do that. Molecular Decoder is our cloud-based engine that essentially enables us to do the testing anywhere in the world. The data that's produced by the next generation sequencer, which is what our
Mhm.
tests are reliant on, is simply uploaded to the cloud, and a test report is delivered back to the lab in a short order. So we've already deployed this in a number of different countries, as I mentioned, and now we are taking on new customers to put their diagnostic tests on Molecular Decoder as well. So essentially now we are raising $7 million to enhance the commercialization and the sales of Thyroid Guide PX, our first test, but also we've recently productized Molecular Decoder. We already have 8 companies in the hopper and willing to put their algorithms on Molecular Decoder. And essentially, most of our effort in the next 2 years will be to enhance not just sales of Thyroid Guide PX and create a follow-on product, but also to enhance the commercialization of the software. And thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to any questions that anyone might have related to that.
Great presentation, Oliver. Who has our first question? Just unmute and go ahead and ask it out loud, and we'll have time for about three questions.
Quick question here, Alex Dugum, partner at Inniswift Capital. What have you made, can you comment more on your revenues and how that's changing now, or is everything still, in proof of scale? Are they non-paying pilots, or
Yes.
are you focusing on revenues with this money?
Right. So with Thyroid Guide PX, we have very, very early revenue. Some of it is paid pilots, such as from the University of Toronto and private pay. But we have some pilots that will be maturing in the next 6 to 12 months from Sloan Kettering and a number of other universities, and ultimately they will be converted to customers. With Molecular Decoder, our software platform that enables decentralization of testing, we just actually started selling that about 6 months ago, and we're already experiencing quite a bit of interest. So we're at the point right now to get some initial pilots going, and it's sort of a land and expand strategy where you bring people in with a very small commitment, and then as they gain confidence in the product, then they become more valuable customers, essentially.
Great. Dan, what's your question?
Hi, Oliver, fellow Canuck. How much of the 7 million has already been raised, number one, and number two, how much non-dilutive have you already received?
Thanks for the question. So we just started this raise. In the past, we've raised about $2 million USD and another 2.5 million from non-dilutive. I'm just awaiting some additional grants that should come out in the next week or so, and they total about $2 million. We've been pretty successful in peer-reviewed funding categories, so I expect that those should go through.
Super, thank you.
I should say too that we've done all of this really with $2 million of capital, so we're extremely capital efficient.
Great. That's our time. Thanks so much for great questions and a great presentation, Oliver. Let's bring up our next presenter. We have with us Spencer Madison of AccuBreath. While he's loading up and starting his slides, AccuBreath is a respiratory medical technology improving breathing, monitoring, and patient treatment outcomes. Spencer?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for letting me join and be and participating. So AccuBreath, we are focusing on emergency ventilation and improving the current standard of care, which is a technology that is 70 years old. It's a bag valve mask. I've got one on my hands. You can see one on the screen. The situation with this device is this is the life-saving technology for any sort of respiratory distress. or a situation where they need to maintain the airway, these devices provide no feedback, no safety features. They're very inaccurate, and they only can properly be done by two individuals. And we find that that's a situation that can definitely be improved upon. And so we have done that. Unfortunately, during these situations, people get injured, and these injuries do cause deaths. And all of the care and the deaths do have a cost to our healthcare system on top of just the loss of life. AccuBreath can solve these problems by providing ultimately high-end ventilation in an automated handheld form factor. It's a small portable device. I've got one in my hands. You can see it here on my screen. It's really easy to use. You put it on the face, you basically press go, and the device does all the work for you. It essentially provides advanced level care at a basic level training. So anybody can pretty much use this in an EMS setting, and it fits the standards and the trends that are happening in healthcare for better safety, better outcomes. It helps with work shortages and providing a procedure. Instead of being two people, it can go down to one, and even off the face for even like no-handed work, since the device automates so much of the process. It provides all the features that they need to provide reliable ventilation care and dial it in according to the patient, according to height, age, and demographic. You can see where we're headed with this raise to go from a current prototype stage to a fully manufactured, durable design that has more of a ruggedness, power tool-esque feel that is perfect for both first responders and military applications. There are some competitors in this space, but they're all focused on different aspects of the ventilation system, where we are coming in and focusing on the very first step, the bag valve mask. And then the goal is to replace the rest of these technologies, because we would be the device that could do it all, so to speak. We're the only platform working on we consider capable, portable, and affordable, because they're either very high-end and expensive and heavy, or they're very cheap and they're disposable and they provide no features like the bag valve mask. We come in with a system that can replace many of these devices and change modes with a push of a button. The device goes from rescue mode and replaces the bag valve to BiPAP, and it can work with ETT or LMAs, or even maybe prevent the use of those because it's of those invasive techniques. And then you can switch it to CPAP and monitoring and oxygenate the patient and replace the high flow CPAP devices as well. It's quite a large market, considering this is a commodity product, but almost 100 million of these bag valve masks are used and thrown away across the globe. So just in terms of medical waste, you can see there's a great opportunity in decreasing that. We have a razor blade model, and that's how we will be able to have the flexibility to get into these sales channels at a very low cost and grow according to the use cases, as well as provide options for leasing and service agreements, providing a very good seamless system for the end users and the groups that purchase it. We have 2 fully granted US patents, a 3rd under final office action now. That all started with some of our first investments. We are a 510K class 2 medical device. We have a very clear predicate pathway. And one thing that COVID did do for the world is it helped ventilation technologies have a very clear pathway through the FDA. And so we do not anticipate any issues, but we still believe this will take somewhere between 6 and 9 months from submission to clearance. And we are well on our way to do that. We're currently raising $2 million over the course of 2 years. Tranche 1 is open and about 45% filled. We have another commitment for 20% and are still looking for more investors to come in here before we open up Tranche 2. Tranche 1 will get us to FDA submission. Tranche 2 will get us past clearance and into the market. AccuBreath has more than just emergency services potential. It's a platform technology, and we have opportunities in the future with sedation, aviation, and the ultimate goal of respiratory support across the globe. Our technology could be placed next to every AED in the country, so you could provide respiratory care on site in person. Thank you.
Great presentation, Spencer. For those who don't know, AccuBreath got an 86 on the investability score. Who has our first question?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Hi. So your the device sits on top of a BVM, and so this is for use really primarily kind of in emergent care situations and pre-intubation. Is that a correct understanding?
Sort of. So the BVM currently goes on a face, right? And they squeeze the bag and they hold it. Our device can also go right on the face if needed to. More and more feedback is that they would like just to strap the mask on and put the device to the side and push a button. And that's how it's designed to automate the feature set. So the masks for us don't have to have a perfect seal because we're the only technology that adapts to leak by accommodating and measuring the pressure actually in the lungs. Other ventilation technologies, they don't have a measuring of the lungs from the mask import, which we do, which is one reason why we have a razor blade, because it's a proprietary system that does that.
Okay. And then last question here. I want to be cognizant of other people. What is I've seen, since this is obviously device, right? There's some type of battery and charge. Walk me through that as far as how long does it last on a charge? What's the kind of expected lifetime of a battery, and those kind of parts of the mechanics.
Great. We're currently using a single cell lithium ion battery. This particular cell right here at fully charged gives us 8 hours of full capacity use of the device. Most respiratory events are 90 minutes or less, with the average of them being anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes of bagging, and then additional feature set. The device is designed in a way, and it will be, as you see the image on the screen as we go to our next rugged design, to have a hot swappable battery, very much like a power tool. So at any time they could swap the battery in and out, and they could even do it in between breaths. Average breath rate for adults is anywhere between 8 and 12 breaths per minute. The device powers up in about 8 seconds. So,
all right. Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you.
Great. That's the end of our time. Thanks so much for great questions, guys. With that, let's go to the next presenter. We have with us Hemocath. Eric, go ahead and launch your slides and kick off when ready. Hemocath got an 83 on the investability score. It's a medical device company developing catheter technology for improved patient outcomes. And here we go.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eric Caron, CEO and co-founder of Hemocath. Our company is uniquely positioned at the convergence of medtech and healthcare AI. We are commercializing the hemodynamics AI platform to transform acute heart failure management from a reactive response into proactive care. Today, we are raising a $4.5 million seed round to secure FDA clearance and conduct preclinical studies with key opinion leaders at Yale School of Medicine. To understand why this opportunity is so massive, we must look at the sheer scale of this crisis. Heart failure remains the leading cause of death and the single largest healthcare cost in both the US and EU. When patients suffer from acute decompensated heart failure, or ADHF, the heart abruptly fails to pump blood effectively, rapidly flooding the body and lungs with fluid. In the US alone, there are 700,000 ADHF hospital admissions every year. To manage those critical patients, clinicians rely on pulmonary artery catheters, or PACs, as the standard of care to directly measure hemodynamic data and assess heart function. However, clinicians have currently no other options but to use legacy large PACs built on a 50-year-old technology. There are large rigid catheters that must be inserted directly through a major vein in the neck, with risk of serious complications, clinical complications. Also, those systems are unstable, requiring constant manual adjustments and frequently generating unreliable data. Additionally, study shows that clinicians make data interpretation error up to 40% of the time. That leads directly to misdiagnosis, wrong treatment decisions, and prolonged costly hospital stays. Hemocath solves these complications by pairing our advanced Hemocath pulmonary artery catheter with the hemodynamics AI platform to offer a solution that is safer for patients, easier for clinicians, and AI-driven for accuracy. So safer for patients by replacing a large catheter inserted in the neck with a flexible small catheter inserted safely in the arm, just like a standard IV catheter. Easier for clinicians by replacing large external sensors with integrated optical microsensors. This proprietary medical device captures high-fidelity hemodynamic data and simplifies bedside setup. Hemodynamics AI analyze high-fidelity waveforms from the hemocat catheter to detect early patient deterioration well before clinicians can spot it visually. Ultimately, this vertical AI platform will provide real-time decision support to optimize medication dose adjustments and safely accelerate hospital discharge. HemoCat provides the high-fidelity data required to train healthcare AI. We are disrupting an established $2 billion US market with a dual revenue business model. First, 35% of our model is traditional medtech hardware. Our single-use HemoCat PA catheter is priced $550 per unit with a 60% gross margin. Second, 60% of our model is a SaaS revenue stream. The hemodynamics AI software delivers a scalable recurring revenue by charging $150 per patient per day for real-time decision support. R&D for the HemoCat catheter is completed. Our technology is protected by 8 issued patents fully owned by our company, and safety and effectiveness have been confirmed by large animal trials. Our regulatory path is exceptionally de-risked. The FDA confirmed during our pre-submission meeting that the HemoCat PA catheter qualifies for 15K clearance process without human clinical trials. This significantly reduces our regulatory costs and accelerate time to market. Our leadership team brings over 120 years of collective experience across cardiology, engineering, commercialization, and corporate finance. As a CEO and co-founder, our background as a high-tech engineer and medtech entrepreneur combines novel development and commercialization with venture fundraising. Our Chief Medical Officer and co-founder, Des Regan, is an expert medtech engineer, formerly from Medtronic and Northern Medical. And our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Chris Glover, is a practicing interventional cardiologist and Director of Cardiac Catheterization at Ottawa Heart Institute. And our Chief Financial Officer, Robert Orr, brings 15 years of medtech CEO leadership alongside 20 years of merger and acquisition consulting at PwC and Deloitte. Our execution roadmap is structured around capital efficiency and valuation inflection points. This $4.5 million seed round funds our 510K submission and large animal trials with Yale. Following FDA clearance in 2028, our $9 million Series A funds strategic target commercialization across 10 to 15 US hospital centers. Our sales will start in 2028 following FDA clearance. HemoCat market adoption will be accelerated by clinical evidence of a hospital discharge and AI monitoring of heart failure patients. By backing HemoCat today, you are funding the next standard of care in acute heart failure. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Great presentation. Who has their first question?
I'll ask the same one as I did before. Eric, great presentation. How much of the $4.5 million have you already raised, and how much did you have prior to that with regards to non-dilutive?
Okay, so on the existing raise right now, we've received $100,000, and previously we have raised 1.7 in equity and 0.5 in the non-dilutive funding.
Thank you.
Great. Time for one more question. Can you tell us a little bit about your intellectual property, just short order?
Excuse me?
Can you tell us about your intellectual property, the IP? What do you have there?
Okay, so we have 4 families, and let me jump here. We have 4 families, and including 8 issued patents. So as you can see here in the slide here, so the initial family is for the early phase of a patent portfolio covering multi-sensor catheter and guide wire, and as we progress over time, we converge to exactly what is the HemoCat PA catheter today. And as you can see, most of those latest patents right now are covering that final design that we're going to bring to market.
Great. Very good. That's the end of our time. Thanks so much for a great presentation. With that, let's move to our next presenter. We have with us Chill Shark. They got an 81 on the investability score. Venkat, go ahead and launch your slides and kick off when ready. They are a portable cooling technology accelerating athletic recovery and improving physical performance.
Okay, thank you very much. So pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone. So Chill Shark is our in-room luxury hospitality recovery platform. So we have recently recognized revenue, delivered our first unit to Four Seasons Philadelphia for a VVIP usage. This is our team. Keegan was not here, is not able to be here today. He's at another event. And this is myself. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, have 30 years of experience in engineering, operations, and manufacturing across wellness and consumer product industries. And we have a wide advisory network also. This is the problem. Essentially, what we're trying to solve is operationalize the delivery of cold water immersion, which is a growing wellness trend in luxury hospitality. We did not start with luxury hospitality. We started with athletics, but it led us naturally to this. And Chill Shark, the picture is worth 1,000 words. And this is what it does. It's a retrofit smart chiller. And this is the problem it solves. It's a very quick video. I won't play the whole thing, but it's basically it just goes and attaches to any tub with a flexible mat, and your tub becomes a cold plunge system, essentially. So, and this is basically we are serving a very fast-growing wellness industry in the luxury hospitality. We're solving multiple problems with footprint, with basically preventing additional capex for hospitality, and just allowing a new revenue stream for the luxury hotels. And we have quite a bit of interest and traction right now. Again, a little bit more explanation of what we do. We have consumer tubs which fail the brand standards. We have legacy spa installs, which are very expensive, up to $20,000. Of course, as we have ice workarounds, which I showed in the picture earlier. We have an elegant, connected, intelligent way to basically circumvent this. Essentially, this is our product. We have a companion app. We also provide fleet management to the hotel operators, and we are also working on a recovery intelligence protocol, which will be another source of revenue for us. It just creates a premium user experience. We compound the intelligence which we gather from every use, and it just fits where legacy tub installations are just not possible right now. A very quick image of how this operates. Very simple. We just put it over a tub, handle it with the app. You can do it at the unit also, but very low friction usage. Why hotels buy? It's basically new revenue for them without any construction, without any capital exposure, which is what I mentioned. It just solves a huge problem, opens up essentially a blue ocean fit for us. We have designed it to fit the brand, fit the luxury hospitality brand, and it's been proven to us with the traction we have been getting. We had started off with basically validating consumer demand. We had an all-time successful Kickstarter launch campaign. Basically, we exceeded multiple large brand names, but then we gravitated towards a B2B offering. We have multiple paid orders with the Memphis Grizzlies. We are about to deliver our first unit to the Memphis Grizzlies. We have some other sports teams. We have a signed contract with the Four Seasons with the revenue share aspect also, where we provide their service along with the units. Then we moved on to luxury residences. We do have a contract with a luxury residence developer in Nashville, and we are basically on the books to deliver units next year. And there are plenty of other orders which are in the pipeline in a similar vein. So essentially one wedge, we just unlock three channels. We're starting with the luxury hospitality and residences. We have some inroads into the athletics, and then eventually we will be going to the premium consumers once we establish our brands. A little bit more nitty-gritty about the business. This is primarily a hardware business. Most of the revenue is coming from there, but we do have recurring revenues for consumables, fleet management, and other recurring services. So this is some unit economics. I'll just skip to a revenue share here. I can answer more questions about this. And these are some competitors which we have, but we stand above this market. We do have moats in terms of IP and the distribution. Our ask is we are raising 1.5 million in SAFE right now, and that bridges us towards our Series A, which is where we'll be raising more growth capital. And the 1.5 will be deployed for certification, manufacturing scale, hypercare, and activating further revenue. So thank you very much. Sorry, I went over a little bit, Hal. So
Great. So thanks, Venkat, for great presentation. Who has our first question?
I got you.
I have a
Go ahead,
go ahead,
Alex.
Alex. Just a real quick question. Where do you manufacture them?
So our manufacturing setup is planned in Bangalore, India. So this is something I leveraged an old relationship of mine. And also it makes sense because some of our customer pipelines are really being activated in the Middle East and Europe, and we do have some components coming from China. So it was just a perfect combination of cost and efficiency.
Thank you.
Alexander?
Is there a certain number of units of production where economics of scale really starts playing in your favor? Like device cost goes way down? And how many units is
Yes. I think roughly around 1,000 to 1,500 units. So the main component cost is the chiller unit, which it's a specialized chiller. We have designed it. So that's the primary cost. And then we have plastic components where we have run times, which will
So
come down.
1,500 units, the cost go down to half?
No, it won't go down to half. We have a COGS of 2,000, and then we have a 10% reduction year over year until year 3.
So if you sold 10,000 units or 100,000 units, there's no floor. What's the cheapest it could go?
No, it's not it doesn't go down indefinitely. So you start seeing a price reduction, a cost reduction around the 1,500 mark. After that, we'll have to do a value engineering aspect where you might do some small redesigns or make the manufacturing process more efficient. Might be able to bring some automation, but I don't think that will have a huge factor. Eventually, where it will drive the cost down more is when we put more R&D into making our own compressors and chillers. We have some line of sight to that, but we are predicting in 5 years, we'll bring the cost down from 2,000 to around the 1,500, 1,600.
Hit me up after this, man. I do a lot in the hotel and luxury side,
Sure.
like mostly drug development, but I think we could help. Thanks. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Absolutely.
everyone.
No, thank you very much
great,
for the question.
great questions. Thanks so much. We'll make that introduction. We are at the end of our time. Thanks, Venkat, for a great presentation. With that, let's move to our next presenter, which is Aether Therapeutics. Aether got an 87 on the investability score. It's a biotechnology company developed novel therapies addressing opioid use and addiction. Go ahead and kick off, Aaron, when you're ready.
Okay. You can see and hear okay?
Yes, we can.
All right. Let me start my timer. So thanks for having me. As Paul pointed out, we're a clinical stage biotech company working in the pain and addiction area. We're pretty far along for what would be considered an early stage project. And you'll see that here. in this deck. But basically, we're going after the opioid crisis, which continues to persist in spite of all the efforts to arrest it, primarily because there are no other alternatives to treating severe pain. And so opioids are going to be around for the next 10 years at least, if not longer, in spite, and there's nearly nothing else that is going to displace those anytime soon. So our solution to this is, well, if opioids are going to be around, why don't we figure out a way to take the sting out of them? So that's exactly what we're doing. We've got a novel compound that binds the mu-opioid receptor, the same receptor that opioids binds in the brain, and we modulate that receptor very exquisitely to suppress the dependent signals from an opioid while preserving the analgesic function of that opioid. So our target product profile is basically an opioid equivalent analgesic without the risk of dependence. People have been trying to do this for a long time, and they failed primarily because we're the first ones actually targeting the biology the right way. People have been drugging the wrong biology. So we're the only molecule in development that actually is directly targeting the cause of dependence at the molecular level. Obviously, the addressable market is huge, plus expansion opportunities. And there's been a lot of activity recently in the deal space and also interest from the FDA, particularly for non-addictive pain drugs. We've completed human safety in two human studies at much higher doses than we're going in with these clinical studies. We've got a wide therapeutic window, clean tox in 2 species, as well as a battery of non-clinical data that demonstrates consistent performance of the drug. Our plan is very capital efficient. We're going to spend $10 million in about 2.5 years to get to a significant value inflection point and a potential exit. And we've got a lean and proven team. So we're raising $10 million in a convertible note. The pre-money valuation is $13.3 million. We got a lead investor in for 4.5. Total committed as of last week of $7 million. We've been through the diligence effort with a number of teams. Most recently, the Keiretsu Forum Northwest produced about a 60-page report. Importantly, 4 out of the 5 investors on that diligence team actually chose to invest after completing that process. So Rick Hawkins is a co-founder and serial entrepreneur with a number of successful exits. I've been around the industry a long time. Specifically, I was part of the early team at Coherus Biosciences, where we went from startup to a $1.2 billion market cap within about 7 years. And I was not the founder of that, but I was the business guy bringing in a lot of that capital. Bruce Enbert has successfully developed and registered a number of drugs, and Wolfgang Sadi is the brains behind this. He's a world-renowned researcher in the field of addiction and pain biology out of Ohio State University and UCSF, and Laurence Noor is our very capable chief operating officer. So about 60% of patients right now dealing with severe pain actually are not on opioids. They're trying different things, but they're really enduring with pain is what they're doing. And so there's an expansion opportunity here. The addressable market is $22 billion just at generic opioid pricing if you actually were to treat everyone with severe pain. On the right, you can kind of see how you can think about pain drugs as kind of a trade-off between safety and pain relief. And opioids, of course, provide the highest level of analgesia, but have the worst safety profile. All these other targets in development, including the sodium channel inhibitors right here, like Jernavix, which recently launched, they're all basically compromising some level of efficacy for better safety. And the reason for that is because they're trying to get away from opioids, which is good. And some of these drugs will, adequately treat, mild to moderate acute pain, but none of them are treating severe chronic pain at all. So we're the only TPP in development that basically is going after opioid equivalent analgesia without compromising the efficacy, but also while delivering a safe product profile. So from an investor perspective, here's what the plan looks like. We'll take the $10 million bridge, we'll invest it in making a batch of material, and most of the capital will go down to funding the clinical studies in Australia, where we can do these relatively cheaper and quicker than you can in the US. We're dealing with working with CROs down there who have a history of generating US quality data that the FDA accepts. So we'll go down to Australia, do these studies, and at the completion of these studies, we'll basically measure the change from baseline in these patients on chronic opioid therapy in their pain scores and their dependent scores. And if we hit that, that will be a home run, and that would benchmark conservatively at $300 million based on recent deals done for phase 2 assets in the non-addictive pain space. So I think time's up, but basically, when you think about risks of this deal, namely, it's not going to fail safety out of the gate. We know that already. We've already got safety. The efficacy evidence is really solid. We've got a team of drug developers, and we've got a plan to get to a relatively quick exit. Thank you.
Great presentation, Aaron. Who has our first question?
Yes, I'm happy to start. Can you elaborate on the endpoint, pivotal endpoint in the clinic? And
Yes.
also, how do you prove in the clinic it's non-addictive?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And third, where is the technology coming from?
Yep. Good questions. Okay. First of the endpoint. So what we're going to do is go to Australia, and let me share my screen if you don't mind. I should have kept it up. I didn't realize it was going to take so long to pull up. But basically what we're going to do, well, the slide went away. Sorry about that. What we're going to do is basically go do a single ascending dose study in normal healthy volunteers on the left. That's about 26 subjects. And the main reason for that is to pick a dose for the phase 2 study. So the phase 2 study is here on the right. So at baseline, these are going to be chronic opioid subjects who are managing pain, and they're on opioids, but they're stable. They don't have addiction, but they do have a baseline level of dependence. And there are two standard assessment tools that are clinically validated that we're going to use. One is subjective, one is objective. We'll use those tools to measure their level of dependence at baseline, as well as the standard pain scores at baseline. Treat them for 4 weeks, placebo-controlled, 52 subjects, 1-to-1 randomization. And at the end of that 4 weeks, we'll look at the difference between the assessment tools for dependence compared to baseline, as well as a change in pain. So our goal here is basically to leverage keep them on their existing opioids, so they'll get the pain relief from their opioid treatment, and then our drug will basically is designed to reduce their dependence scores. So a separation of those two gives us basically a proof of concept for 2 product concepts. One, as a non-addictive pain therapy in combination with an opioid. Number 2, as a potential treatment for opioid use disorder. The second question had to do with, did I answer the second question? I think I did.
Yes, the third question was where the technology is coming from.
Oh, so Wolfgang Sade discovered it from Ohio State University. We have one license. We have 5 patent families. One of those patent families is licensed from OSU, and the other 4 we own outright. And that license is a traditional, university license with a 1.5% royalty. So pretty straightforward. And here's basically how the drug works, if you're interested. Yep.
All right,
When
that's
is
our
the
time,
patent
guys.
expired?
Thanks so much for that great presentation. Let's move to our next presenter. We have with us next Skymir. They got a 78 on the investability score. While the slides are coming up, it's a wireless technology company developing advanced antenna solutions for improved connectivity.
Thanks, everyone. Good to talk with you. I'll modify slightly. We produce products that are based upon RF first technology. Our products are, in fact, a range of wireless, extremely high performance products that hang at the edges of wireless networks. And I'm going to leave the entire pitch with you, but if we can go to the second slide, please, Demi. Thanks. I'm actually going to slow it down, not speed it up. We're a growth stage company with an existing Series A investment already in place of over $7 million. We have powerful channel partners in T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T. We have revenue. We have 17 patents applied for and 5 satisfied. And we have proven performance advantages in the field by these major channel partners. And so all of those elements of risks have been eliminated for our investors. We're raising more money, and I'll explain why. Can we go forward? it probably isn't a surprise, but the 5G wireless market is over $48 billion and 350 million subscribers will use fifth generation technology to access these networks worldwide. Think Africa, think Brazil, think many places in the United States as well as Europe. Let's go on. Please take a look later. Our orientation, if we can go to the next slide, thanks for your help, by the way, is to recognize that our core competence, I've had 3 exits in the product space. I'm the chairman. My partner, Eric Joe, has had an exit in the antenna space. Realize that very few companies, if any, pay any attention to the power of the RF link on these devices that sit in wireless networks. And we do. And we have found a way to do it with no incremental cost and heavily protected. And that's why our lead investor invested in us for Series A. Go on, please. And thanks for your help, by the way. We're going to pass on this one. Please take a look if you'd like to spend some time with us. We're chosen because of superior performance. And I'm going to give you an example. But the MulCat technology that underlies all this works on any application. So if it's an antenna, as Hall mentioned, if it's a router to get to the wireless network for your point of sale terminals, or even a tracker that will use the wireless network, in every case and in all new cases, MulCat technology is the platform. So we can go any direction we wish to go, but we've chosen those places. Go to the next one, please. This is an existing product line. The 5G router is the thing that's in your closet today that connects to your fiber network, but tomorrow will connect to 5G worldwide. The tracker will track not only individuals, but expensive shipments in trucks, in first responders. It tracks in the X and Y and Z axis, so you can find people as well as things in warehouses, and 28 different antennas that we've already brought to market in the 20 months since we raised our Series A. Go on, please. Awards to everywhere, and none of these awards are actually because we paid for them. These are industry awards, including the CES Innovation Award. Why? Because it's not our measurements, it's the measurements of our customers and partners that prove the case. Go forward, please. To make it real, imagine you're looking down at a serving zone with a tower in a wireless network. On the right-hand side, it's somebody else's, on the left-hand side, pardon me, it's somebody else's router. The tower is in the middle, and the actual extent of that wireless reach is about 14 miles or about 22.5 kilometers. The area we can serve when our customers use our router is twice the area, not 20% more, twice the area. So imagine these applications, again, as I mentioned, in a variety of places in the world. That's why T-Mobile is already our partner. That's why Verizon will officially be our partner within a month, and AT&T after that. That's why we are considered the highest performing router by a variety of Japanese companies and Indian companies where we have an office most recently. That's just one example. Others could be given for trackers and our antennas that are used for video systems for security, et cetera. All of this is already in place and in the market. Go on, please. When you look at this more slowly, and I hope you will, realize that all the noise with Starlink that you probably have heard recently is also accommodated by us. The wireless carriers put their arms around Starlink, but they also fear Starlink because they fear that Elon Musk and company are going to take them over. We work with it, but our products will allow the ability to stave off satellite communication at much lower data rates.
We're at the end
Again,
of our time. Can we
examples.
go to the fundraise ask?
Absolutely. Let's go to the very end. I mentioned before that that this is an extension of Series A. We raised that 7.3 million in December of 2024. Our goal is up to 5 million. Of that goal, our lead investor, Soleco Capital, north of Detroit, has already committed 1.5 million, and other parties have committed another half. So this is an established company with a world-class team. Please look. That's looking to extend Series A to make sure we get the inventory we need and the customer penetration we need before we go out to a very large Series B. And yes, we would entertain convertible notes to be an effective tool for us in the interim. Thanks.
Right. Who has a question?
Chris, actually, in the last session, I met you again now, and I think there is a huge opportunity in the DACH region to connect you to Hutchison Group and to A1. And additional to that, you can raise capital from the Austrian ecosystem to expand your business in any place in the world once you open your subsidiary in Austria.
Yes, and we value that. We value new faces on our board that I chair, and we value investment that will help us open up markets. So thanks again for that.
I'll be very glad to meet you after this
As
speech.
you as well.
Thank
So
you.
we're at the end of our time. Thanks so much for a great presentation and questions. With that, let's go to our final presenter. We have with us Chris Sheets of 1839 Ventures. Chris, if you want to launch your slides and kick off. Chris got a 55 on the investability score. It's a venture firm investing in and supporting promising early stage technology companies.
Are the slides up? Just curious.
You're looking good. You're ready to go.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's hard to follow some of those presentations. They're all very good. I'm the founder of 1839 Ventures, and I'd like to introduce the Early Stage Opportunity Fund that is a $10 million fund. Basically, we are... Sorry about this. Hang on just a moment. So why invest through the Opportunity Fund? The Opportunity Fund will provide diversified exposure to around 24 to 32 investments through a single commitment, and centralized management allows us to underwrite and basically manage those investments for you. So why 1839? We have curated access to multiple deal flow sources throughout Austin. The fund expects to invest in 6 to 8 investments per year with an annual deal flow of a little bit over 500 with investor-aligned funding and dynamics of the fund. Our core thesis is we invest in early stage technology companies with the potential to scale efficiently, build defensible positions, and create attractive exits. And when we pass, basically that thesis is designed to be a yes or no question based on the 4 criteria that you see. And that way, entrepreneurs, we can automatically say, will we engage or will we don't? And basically that core thesis, if they don't meet it, then we'll typically pass. Why now? Basically, 67% of the venture capital is associated with 3% of the deals. Last year, we feel that the mega deals are excluding the seed through Series A opportunities and leaving those with better valuations for us to look at, and including some of the deals that would be on this particular call at the low end, 1.5 million. Those would be the ones that we'd be attracted to probably the most. Our venture ecosystem and where we get our deal flow from is 10 Capital, the Venture Build, and Texas Venture Labs at the University of Texas, across founder networks, advisory networks, and accelerators as well. Opportunity sourcing, you're looking at approximately 300 to 400 from 10 Capital, 50 annual opportunities from the Venture Build, Texas Venture Labs. Now, the first two on there are typically a little bit further along. They've been market validated. They do have the product. They do have the MVP. They've got first initial scaling. So our selective investment funnel, like I said previously, we see 500 or expect to see 500 annual opportunities, down to 100 get screened, basically making 6 to 8 investments per year for a 4-year investment period. So the investment underwriting, we do independent screening, we do independent underwriting and due diligence, and then the investment are aligned with the investors, and basically it goes through the investment committee for a final review before we actually make the investment. So the portfolio construction, we've hit on it, 24 to 32 companies. We're looking at initial check sizes of 1 to 300,000. 40% to 50% for follow-on. And basically what that allows us to do is follow into and support the performers. And then you can see where the initial investments would be made. Follow-on capital would be into the existing portfolio. The sectors that we would go along would be enterprise software, fintech, healthcare, infrastructure. So basically following a lot of what the deal flow sources would have for us. So the management team consists of myself and Mustafa Najum. We've worked together for close to 10 years. We met each other through State Department delegations through South Asia. Since then, we've advised several companies. Mustafa has made a little bit more angel investments than I have into some companies there. Recently pulled the trigger on Equate Financial Services, which is a digital neobank, and then $50,000 investment into Solaris Vascular that came through 10 Capital. So our strategic advisors are concentrated on supporting us through venture investing, commercial growth, and scaling of our of companies, and then founder support. Fund economics are $10 million, up to $100,000, 1% of committed capital, 2% fee during the investment period. You're looking at 4-year investment period, dropping down to 1.5 on invested capital after the investment period. Carry is actually 15% rather than the 20% normal. 10 years, 24 to 32 companies. Like I said, investment period 4 years. Our target IRR is just over 20%. This is offered through 506C Reg D. You do need to be an accredited investor, and $50,000 is the minimum investment. Then how the fund seeks to mitigate risk. We do a careful due diligence process on top of the diligence that our partners already provide, or the relationships already provide. And then why invest in 1839 Ventures? We have the relationship-driven access. We do selectively deploy, so not every single company gets engaged. We do have diversified exposure, follow-on capacity of 40 to 50%. So with that, I invite any of you to be happy to answer questions today, and then as well continue conversations after this call.
Great presentation. Who has a question?
Yes, I have a question to Chris.
Yes.
Chris, are you open-minded like other venture capital from US that we are working with as a venture partner to combine non-diluted funding from Europe, from the Austrian agencies that can support any kind of companies that would like to open their subsidiary in Austria, and to match this non-diluted funding with your private capital?
Of course. And in fact, we value what we like to call smart relationships. That is to say that, either investment or business opportunities that provide access to new markets.
Chris Morton, I think he's talking to Chris Sheets.
Yeah, I am talking about Chris Sheets. Yes.
I'm sorry.
So what I know.
Go ahead, Chris Sheets. Go ahead. Yeah, give an
Okay,
answer.
gotcha. If I understood the question, yes, we would be interested in opening up opportunities overseas. We have lots of investors that work with us overseas. The fund can take investment commitments from overseas. This particular fund, if I understood you correctly, would probably limit ourselves to US-based companies only, but our next fund definitely would open up international. So does that answer your question?
Yes, definitely. Because if you are open-minded to invest in international companies, the headquarters is based in US, but the subsidiary is open in Europe, it means that venture capital, family offices, and LPs from European market can co-invest in your fund. They can invest in your fund directly as an LPs, or they
Yes.
can co-invest in SPV model in companies that are based in US but opening their subsidiary in Austria at the same time. So I'm
Yes.
looking for VCs from US that maybe in the second phase will open their subsidiary in Europe. And in this case, just for your knowledge, in Europe we have the EIF fund. EIF is the European Investment Fund that's based in Brussels. That once you have a good track record and a very strong GP, you can apply to get non-diluted funding. You can receive non-diluted funding to your fund that you can manage.
Toby,
So we're out
let
of
me
time, guys. Guys, we're out of time. We got to go and close. Thank you guys for great presentations and so forth. I do want to ask the investors who they want to follow up with. Bettina, I'll ask those who have the camera on. If your camera's off, just go and put the answer in the chat box if you like. Bettina, who would you like to follow up with? Would you like to follow up with?
In
Yes?
my view, the most interesting one was the therapeutic one.
Aether?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. Kobe, who did you want to follow up with?
I would like to set a meetings with both Greece.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. With that, let's go to
Thank you.
Alexander Dugam. Who would you like to follow up with?
Just for quick clarity, do we choose just one, or if I have the capacity to support multiple?
As many as you like.
I really was a fan of AccuBreath because I have some complementary devices that I'm commercializing, and I'm also a fan of Aether because of some of the prior experience in that space. I think other products are great. They're just a little outside of my thesis.
All right. What about Chill Shark?
I really like Chill Shark, but it's not through the fund.
Okay.
I really like it, but I can help you with. It's just more about let's realize some business there.
Very good. We'll make that distinction there. Dan, who would you like to follow up with?
The four health ones: Qualicare, Hemocath, AccuBreath, and Aether again, please.
Okay. All right. And next is, let's see. I think that maybe everybody here. Does anybody else in the room want to turn on the camera and tell me of any others that they want to do? If they do, happy to make those introductions. Wasserman. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Great. 10 introductions. Great thing. Great, guys. I'll make those introductions afterwards. Appreciate everybody coming for today's presentation. If you'd like to learn more about 10 Capital, please drop me an email at hallmartin@10capital.group and be glad to follow up with you on next steps. With that, we'll go ahead and close it out for today. Was there any final questions from anybody? All right. Well, with that, we'll let you get back to it. Go ahead.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity, Hal. Pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Thank you.